Born in Greenwich in London, Efe Sodje originally comes from Warri in Delta State, Nigeria. Sodje is the eldest of four brothers who all play football, three of them professionally and one semi-professionally. Sodje began his career playing for Stevenage Borough in the Conference National, who he had signed for ahead of the 1994-95 season. Prior to his signature for Stevenage, Sodje had unsuccessful trials at both Wimbledon and Luton Town. He featured in Stevenage's reverse side throughout August 1994, waiting for his international clearance to come through before making a first-team appearance. He eventually made his debut in 27 September 1994. Although born in England, Efe, like his brother Sam, represented Nigeria at international level. He was part of a squad that finished second to Cameroon in the 2000 African Cup of Nations. He was also part of the Nigeria squad that went to 2002 FIFA World Cup, making 2 appearances against Argentina and England. So far, Efe has played 12 times, scoring 10 in a 2-1 friendly win against Republic of Ireland. He joins me on the Just Steve Show, where we talk about his life and his career. Hello and welcome to the Just Steve Show. It's that time again where we have a guest on the show, and this time we'll be talking to Efe Sodje. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Evelyn.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you if you've watched the show before.
No.
Okay, but never mind.
I love it anyway.
Yeah. So we start from the very beginning. What were your growing up years like?
Childhood was good. Obviously, I'm from a big family, one of 11.
11 from that. That's how did your mother do that?
I think back in those days. The TV in England was only about 2 channels, BBC One and BBC Two. So they enjoyed themselves.
Good one. Yeah. So how was it with your brothers growing up and all of that?
It was good because obviously I think about 2 years apart from everybody, 2 years gap. So we were 8 boys, 3 girls. But when you're in a big family, there's going to be trouble. Everybody's going to be fighting, they're going to be arguing, but all make it up. But the childhood was very great for us. Okay,
and you having been born here, you went back to Nigeria at some point.
Yes.
What age was that?
I think I was 5, 6. We went back. The whole family went back in 1980, and we lived there. Stayed in Benin for 2 years before we moved to our main town, which is Warri. Always Wafi.
That's interesting. And what schools did you go to?
When I was in Warri, I went to Obi Primary School. And from there, Obi Primary School, I went to Government College, Ogeni.
One of them.
Yep. And GCU, keep the ship sailing.
So, at what point did you decide to come back to the UK?
One thing that my dad always said to us was that he said he doesn't mind us coming back, but before we had to come back, we all had to have our education. So we obviously went to boarding school in Nigeria. Sorry enough, I went to Obi Primary School, then I went to Ovugama School. Then from Ovugama School, I went to Government College. But my dad said to us that you only go back, you can go back, but we have to have an education. So I did get I got admission into Abaka University, but I never went to the school because I was in the camp in the hostel, but I was always playing football. So my mum and dad never knew that I was going to football instead of going to university. Okay, so your football career, even amateur, when did you start playing? Well, I know it's a family of football, yeah. But how did you start yours? Funny enough, I started when I was in primary school, and I was always playing for my primary school. Then I think when I got to secondary school, I said to myself, I am going to be a professional footballer. I think I was in class 1 then, and I said I'm definitely going to be playing a footballer, and that's how I just started. But I did focus on my education, and which was great, and I enjoyed it. Especially when I was at Government College, it was just unbelievable because I played volleyball, table tennis, basketball. One of my main sports was football.
So what did your parents do when they found out that you were sneaking out of school?
Well, they didn't. Funny enough, they never knew that I was doing that until even when I was in secondary school, they didn't know I was doing that. It's only when I got to the Abaka when I thought I'm not going to go to university. And my younger brother Sam and Akpo, they were living in
Warri, and I was playing for the DSC Delta Steel, and it was not far from it, and Udu, so it wasn't really far. It was about 20 minutes. So they were my spies. So when my mom and dad would say they're going to come and see me at university, they might say they're going to come on a Friday to come and see me. Then some will come in the evening on the Thursday, and they'll say, "Oh, mom and dad is coming to come and see you at school." I'll say, "Okay." Then the Thursday night, I'll just get on a machine, a motorbike, and come back to the house.
Bad boys.
Yeah. Which was good.
Okay, coming back to the UK, how did you get into football here?
What happened is that I came over, and my younger brother Stephen was living in London with my older brother Solomon. He's a barrister. He was living in London. I came over just for education, and my younger brother was in the club called Elms Football down in Lewisham. So I go and watch him play every Saturday. And I think there was a day when one of their players couldn't turn up, and they asked me would I come and play. And I said, okay, that's it. And back in Nigeria, when you want to play football, you have to wear shorts under your trousers. So anyway, football is you just take your trousers off and you can play. And that's what I was doing. So I played for them on that day. And the luck I had was the day I played for the club, the chief scout of Millwall Football Club was there.
Oh.
And that's when he just said, come down to come and train with us. And that's how I started for my football career in England.
No, that's interesting. So quickly take us through the different clubs. And,
oh, my God. I first started, I did my trials at Wimbledon and Millwall. Then it didn't work out there. Then I had to go to Luton. Then I had to get my clearance, football clearance. I don't know why, because I was born there, but I don't know why I had to get clearance. Then I had to drop from Luton, go to Stevenage, and that's where I started. I started at Stevenage for 2 years. Then from Stevenage, I now played for Macclesfield. Then from Macclesfield, I went to Luton. And from Luton, I went to Colchester to Crewe, Crewe to Huddersfield, Huddersfield to Yeovil, Yeovil to Gillingham, Yeovil to Gillingham, Southend, then Southend for Gillingham, Gillingham to Bury.
That's interesting.
So that was 10 clubs like that.
Wow. Yeah. And how was your performance through all the clubs?
Funny thing about it, out of my 10 clubs, I had 8 promotions. So, which are not bad from somebody that started. I started professional football in this country at the age of 24. So, for playing for 10 clubs and having 8 promotions, I think that's a good record. Then obviously, I played in.
We're talking with Sam, and he said that you, in short, to use his phrase, if you like football, So I think it's something that is like a labor of love. You could sleep and they tap you, and
to be fair, I always had a passion for football, and I to be a real professional, if you really want to do it, I know there's a lot of money in football now, but you have to sacrifice a lot. And when I started playing, the sacrifice I did was that I never went out on a Friday. So for the last 15, 20 years, I refused to go out on a Friday. So that's a big sacrifice.
Can you say that again? Can you say that bit where you didn't go out on a Friday?
Yeah.
Because I'd say you should say it again, because a lot of the young people, should I say, want to eat their cake and have it. Yeah. They don't want to do all the sacrifices. They just want to be there. So say that bit again.
Honestly, I'm not lying. Honestly, I never went out on a Friday. I had to stop going out because I wanted to get to that far. I was never the skillful player that people wanted, but I had the hunger for it, and I made sure that I never go out on a Friday. And the other thing I never did, and I've never done, I never drank alcohol. As I speak, I've never tasted alcohol, so...
That's fantastic. Yeah, so. Well done. Because I know it can be easy, especially when you have, your fellow players and stuff like that.
When I was playing in Warri, obviously I played for Invisible. It's a very famous team in Warri. I played for Invisible before I went to DSC. But I was playing with people that were unbelievably good. But obviously it's about how are you going to, be different from them. It's how are you going to be different from them? And my difference was that I had to sacrifice a lot. And so when they go drinking, I just go training or just go back home.
That's interesting. Okay, I was reading somewhere recently that you were getting death threats. Yeah. Why would that happen?
You know what? It's just unbelievable. It's funny. I've had to be. This is why part of this kick-out racism, because I remember when I was married to a doctor. And as soon as I got to marry to a doctor, I got all these threats by saying, why you married a white girl? All sorts of stuff, and we're going to kill your family, this, that. But I just took it like, you can't touch me. And but.
And your family, you didn't.
First of all, I didn't really let my family know about it. Then, when it got to the point where it was getting serious, then I had my son, and that's when I thought, I had my son and everything. But then they rang me. They kept on ringing me, telling me that, oh, we're going to get you. We're going to get your brothers. We know where they are. And I was thinking, no, this is getting serious now. So I had to get the police involved. And they did. Funny enough, they caught the person because I had the numbers and they traced the numbers, and they gave him a warning for a year that he can't do it again because it was his first offence. And I was thinking,
that's not good enough.
It's not good enough because it's his first offence. Whether first offence or not, he's trying to kill me or trying to kill someone in my family. Right? So if he had killed me, are they going to say it's the first offence? But that's how they say the system is.
Okay, we'll soon take a break, but let me just ask. Now, everywhere we go, we see you with against all odds.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because when
initially when I used to see it, I said, "No, it's cold," but you always have it on.
Yeah, the reason why is because when I came from Nigeria to play, they always look at us thinking that we're raw. That's what they always say. The African players are raw. How far can they go? And for me, I always like to prove people wrong. So if you tell me I can't do it, you're just wasting your time because I will be able to do it. So when I left from Stevenage, which was in the conference, to the Macclesfield, which was in the league, they were asking, can he do it? Can he do it? So my thing was always against the all odds. So I gave them a challenge. But every time I was getting to the club, I was always moving up. Because how I came in football here, I started from the grassroots, in England. I didn't go jump from 1 to Division 2 to come back down. I started from the conference, old Division 3, old Division 2, then in the Championship. So I went from the roots to the top. But I never played in the Premiership, but I made up for it because I played for my country.
Okay, we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we'll be talking about show racism red card. We'll take a break right now and we'll be back in a jiffy.
What people don't understand that people say racism is not in football anymore, but even till today, 2016, racism is in football. So we're trying to fight it. It's not just about being black. It's about, if you're Muslim, Catholic, it doesn't matter. Hindu, it does not matter. Everybody's one. And we're trying to teach the next generation to say we're all one. And that's what we're trying to fight.
You're welcome back if you're just joining us. This is the Sodje'S Show, and we have as our guest on the show today a lovely gentleman, Efe Sodje. Okay, tell us about show the red card for racism. Tell us about that.
Obviously, you've seen it, you noticed about it. It's been going on for 20 years. I've been an honourable patron for the last 12, 13 years now. And what people don't understand that people say racism is not in football anymore, but even till today, 2016, racism is in football. So we're trying to fight it. It's hard. It's never going to go out, but at least it's lessened down from what people have been seeing before. So we just have to go out to schools and speak to kids and talk to little kids and let them know that it's okay to know a black person. It's okay to know a white person, the Muslims, and so that's what we're trying to do. It's not just about being black. It's about if you're Muslim, Catholic, it doesn't matter. Hindu, it does not matter. Everybody's one, and we try to teach the next generation to say we're all one. And that's what we're trying to fight. Okay,
and how has it been so far from 20 years on till now? What progress have you made?
It's been a big progress, but it's still there. It's still in there. There's certain places that you go to in football that you're still going to get the racist marks, but it's how you handle it. Even when I was playing, even till before I really stopped playing 2 years ago, I was still getting it. But the question is, how do you react to it? And the only way you can beat it is by not reacting, by being physical. Mm-hmm. And that's what people don't understand. Because they know that I say, for example, I remember when I was playing one day and somebody said to me, you're a black be? And I looked at the person on the pitch. It was on the pitch. And when he said it, I looked at him and I said, "Do you know that I know I am?" so that reply to him was like, "What?" So he was shocked that
he wasn't expecting
that reply. And I said, "Yes, I know I am." So he didn't know what to do again, and that just demolished him. So he didn't perform well, but that's how I used mine to fight. But obviously there's some people that they can't take that, and they will take it by being physical. But we try. That's why we try out to go out to people, to speak to people, to say, listen, it's all about being talking to them. But it all starts from the parents, because you get a 2-year-old, you get a 3, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, even a 10-year-old kid, right? They don't know anything different than they're playing with kids. But if you see a kid make those kind of remarks, it's not coming from them. It's not coming from the school. It's coming from the parents. So we have to try and let the parents know that that it's not good to let these kids say things like that.
That's interesting. We're going to have to round up in a bit now, but let me ask you, where do we see Efe Sodje and the charity in the next 5 years?
It's hard, and that's why, like, tomorrow we're going to go to the House of Commons to speak about it. It's very difficult, but for me, for myself personally, obviously I've stopped playing football now.
Are you still an assistant manager?
I've left Macclesfield because I was assistant manager in Macclesfield, but I've left there now because obviously I've opened my own company back in Nigeria, and I just do consultancy work, by getting companies out to Nigeria to invest and just do joint ventures with different companies. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So I've got different projects going on, and obviously I do some stuff like consultancy with the Delta State, because my younger brother is now the CEO for the Delta State on the 16 Elite Football Club in Delta State. So, but I do a lot of consultancy work.
Interesting. I wish I could talk to you for a lot more, but time is never a friend on this show. But that's one thing we also always do, if you look into the camera and tell the young ones something out there that would inspire them.
One thing I would like to say to the young lads out there, if it's sports or anything that you're going out for, is always sacrifice a lot, concentrate on what you want to do. But I always say one thing, which is never chase the money, let the money chase you.
Fantastic. Did you hear that? Don't chase the money, let the money chase you. Well, that's our show for today. We've had a lot of fun talking with Efe on the show, and I hope that if we invite you, you will come back.
Oh, definitely.
That's a good one. And we're going to do this again soon. My name remains Evelyn Obaho. You go have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye, and God bless.
Thank you.